What up, YouTube? It's your man ayroq coming at you way too real, and this is volume 2 on the true facts on why hip hop is whack. Volume 2, you dig? And we're gonna go straight to it. We're gonna go to the technology. Now, technology should have been a friend of hip hop's because hip hop was an underground music, and technology should have spread hip hop. But technology ended up being a frenemy. You know what I mean? And when I say a frenemy, it was cool for a minute, and then it just turned out to be hip-hop's like worst enemy. And let me break that down. The internet. It wasn't so prevalent back in the late 90s, you know, like the internet's it's been there, but you know, back in them times, you know, people wasn't using the internet as much to push their music and stuff like that, as much as it in the 2000s and like currently, you know, how people use the internet. You could be from New York and never step foot in a single borough now because of technology. Technology will show you everything about that place, you know, show you how to talk like the people, show you how to walk like the people, show you how to everything, show the swagger, everything like that. And that's truly whack, you dig? We all had that nostalgia when we were younger to have that cousin that came out from the East Coast or from down south or from the West Coast, and he came into town with a little different swagger than you, and you know, the music was different, they dressed a little bit different and stuff like that. And there's a little bit of that left, you know what I mean? But it wasn't like back in the day. You know, back in the day, it's like my cousin Ray Ray, you know, this is what they get down in D.C. or Baltimore, or my cousin Pookie down in Miami, you know, this is how they get down. Or my cousin LaRon out in, you know, L.A., this is how they do things, you know what I mean? So that nostalgia, that's why you got like pretty much Canadians like running the game right now. You know, you got a guy like Drake who's from Toronto and a guy like Justin Bieber. He's from somewhere in Canada or something like that. And it's like they got that, you know, they could do all the research in the world to get that swag down, never set foot, you know, in the hood, and they got credentials, you dig? But so like for instance, I'll give you a prime example, like beats, right? I remember beats from like Public Enemy and like Busta Rhymes and stuff like that, and I couldn't understand it. Being from the West Coast, I didn't understand like why there was so much stuff in the beats. Like there was like rah, rah, welcome to the terror, rah, 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 you know, too much stuff going on, and I was just like, yeah, that's crazy, man. But it's that East Coast fast-paced mentality. It's like jackhammers, it's like the subway, it's like police cars, it's like taxis. And it was just, if you lived out there, that's why those cats was just like, man, this is it, you know, we understand that. Or if you lived out on the West, you know what I mean, like I'm sure cats out in the East was just like, why is the music always partying? Why are they singing over tracks all the time? And why are they sampling like Parliament Funkadelic and Roger and Zapp and stuff like that? Because the weather's great out on the West Coast, and there was always a party on the West Coast. So, you know, you had that nostalgia, and that it came out in the music. And, you know, obviously down south, the music is a little more slower, a little more syrupy, because you're sitting out on a hot porch, and the wind's blowing by real slow, or you pushing that big caddy to the next county on the dirt road. You know what I mean? The beats mimic that, you know what I mean? So nowadays the beats are all the same. This terrible like South music production with techno and electronica and audio tune, just it all sounds the same, you know what I mean? It's terrible. Another thing is Clear Channel. For those of y'all who don't know about Clear Channel pretty much owns all the major all the major radio stations. They own Power out in New York. They own The Beat out in LA. They own KMEL out in the Bay. Look up your local radio station. Clear Channel probably owns it. And the thing about Clear Channel is they decided from a business sense that, hey, we need to start playing all the same music in each, like the same music in New York as we play in LA, or the same music in LA as we play in Birmingham, Alabama. And it's just like, that doesn't work in hip hop. Like, the people, you have to get nice in your area, you know what I mean, before you take your music out, you know, domestically, you know, nationwide. You got to get hot in New York before you hot. If you from New York, you got to get hot in New York to bring your stuff out to LA, or bring your stuff out to Chicago, or however it's getting down. But you know, Clear Channel on the internet got cats like down in Birmingham, Alabama, that's like, yeah, we on the train, we on the subway, we get down. Knowing there ain't no train out in Birmingham or Buckside, Alabama, or wherever. Or, you know, you got a cat in, you know, Chicago that's like, yeah, you know, we got palm trees and girls and swimming pools and come on, man, that's not your business. You know what I mean? You don't get down like that. Be real about yours. You know what I mean? I guess the last thing that I want to hit off is the internet was the great equalizer as far as the major record labels and independent artists. And nowadays, you can just go on the internet and start your own record label. Just straight up. No music experience at all. And that's what I think kind of what killed hip-hop too, is that it was in the 90s, they made a lot of money. It was the #1 form of music. They were making a lot of money, so everybody was figuring, I could do that. So you got Ray, Pookie, and the crew just saying, all right, cool, we're going to go in my baby mama's basement, and we're going to go ahead and put a record label together. And this could work for if you were in the record business for a while, like if you were like Ice Cube or Method Man, or that was on a major record label, and then you said, hey, I've been in the record biz for 10 years, I'm going to go ahead and put out my own stuff, you know what I mean? But if the majority of Pookie and Ray and whatever, you know, like those cats put out something that's just whack, and then you got these people at the record companies that don't know what's good in hip-hop, or the radio stations that don't know what's good in hip-hop, that like will put out, like, I'm not gonna diss Soulja Boy or whatever. Yeah, hell yeah, I'm gonna diss Soulja Boy, that dude is whack. But you get like a record exec that doesn't know that how whack something like that is, and they're like, okay, we're gonna put it on the radios. And then you got a company like Clear Channel that's like, or we own all the record labels, so we're gonna put this everywhere. And it's not even hot at all. And next thing you know, it's playing nationwide. Everybody's listening to it. So, I mean, that being said, you know, I don't want to go on, you know what I mean? I could do this for days and days and days. But be on the lookout. Got another Jersey video coming out probably this weekend. You know what I mean? Got a big MMA fight, you know, this weekend too. So check out, I'm going to drop another video on that. But, you know what I mean? We're going to talk about South hip-hop. A lot of people's like, South killed the hip-hop scene. I'm going to go ahead and put my hat in that arena and tell you what I think about it. And then, obviously, I got a big background in the West Coast. I'm going to tell you about that. I'm going to tell you about the economics of hip-hop, the whole 9 yards. So keep it locked. It's your boy, ayroq, West Coast, all day, every day. Holla at your folks, you dig? 1,000. 5,000, 20,000, whatever you want. Peace.